My goal in creating this series was that the end product would be something that coaches could actually use for their teams and for their programs. So often we're all frustrated when we go to a clinic and listen to some really excellent clinicians over the course of a Saturday or a Sunday or on a weekend, and we listen all day and we hear great stuff. And we jot down notes feverishly and we come up with some really, really good things, and we have some great thoughts, and there's great moments of clarity during those times. By the time it transfers to your season, you just don't seem to be able to transfer much of the knowledge and much of the things that you gain to your kids. Probably because most of the presentations are done on overheads, or they're done on the floor with no defense, 5-on-0 against nobody, or the coaches aren't coaching their players, so the execution isn't to the point where, as the onlooker, you can actually trust it. Same thing is true of videos. You know, a lot of the video presentations that I've seen, although very good for certain things, don't really give me the trust that the execution is happening against live defense in a game setting where I can see the execution against a team that's prepared to beat them. So it is my hope through this process that you will have some trust in what we've done, and you can see that it's been done against teams that are trying to beat us and have scouted us, and that maybe you can find something to apply to your program and to your kids. Be prepared. Your kids are going to need you. I really believe that during the course of just about every single game that we play, there are some really key moments where the coach can be effective as a leader in helping their kids get through a troubled time offensively, a crucial, very pressure situation offensively, where your kids need something more than just the continuity set that they've been running all year. And I think that's the job of the coach, to make sure that there is something there to run, and that there's a plan, and that they're well aware of the fact that when there's a key possession or a crucial moment in a game, that the coach is ready to put the best players in positions of their comfort to take a shot that they can make and help their team in those really key moments of the game. Box is our next man special set, and like many of the others, it does have multiple options. Calling it box, obviously we have a box set. We're going to go ahead and dribble our point guard to one of the wings extended. You can establish which side you want to run the play to, or you can put, if you're strong, if your team is such that you've got two shooters that are pretty good shooters, you can run it to either side, however you like there. I do like to have, we do like to run it where we have two guards low, because we like to post one of those guards and have one of those guards be a shooter, so that we take all the bigger bodies that are defending our forwards and pull them out away from the basket. So if we dribble our wing extended to get the play started, the action starts when the point guard gets wing extended. Our shooting guard is always going to be the ball side. They'll step into the middle of the lane and set a cross screen for the other guard. Bring that guard through to the post up. We then set a staggered screen with our forwards for our shooter to come off, tight to the shoulder. And get a look at a jump shot off the staggered screen at the top of the circle. In clip one, watch closely as our trail screener on our staggered screen slides over to catch a piece of the defender, allowing us to get the shot off. In clip number two, once again, it is our trail screener in our staggered screen set that makes that half a step that allows us to get the proper angle to get this shot off. In evaluating our perimeter action on this play, and particularly looking at our screening angles, we did go with a variation at times away from our staggered screen. We'd try to execute what we call an elevator door. Establish a side of the floor on our wing extended dribble. That then makes that the shooter side. We get our screen across. Bring our teammate to the low post area. And instead of setting up a staggered screen at the top, we just walked it in a step and set up a door for our shooter to squeeze through. And as soon as our shooter is approaching this door, it's starting to close down. So hopefully, if executed correctly, we squeeze through the doors and they close before the defender can get to our shooter at the top.
In clip 3, we use the closed elevator door approach to getting our shooter open, as opposed to the staggered screen approach we've seen thus far.
Our next option involves getting our forwards involved. Depending upon how the defense plays you, scouting is going to create situations where your first option is going to get taken away. The play is very simple. Everyone knows we're cross-screening. We're trying to get a jump shot off a staggered screen or maybe even elevator door type set. Taking that away sometimes is rather easy. In this particular option, we go ahead and dribble the wing extended. We get our cross screen. And now when we bring our staggered screeners in, based on how their coach wants them to play it in their scouting report, the defenders on these two screeners are key. Our shooter comes off, and you're going to be setting yourself up for a turnover, potentially if your point guard cannot read switching defenders on your two staggered screeners. So if you place a defense on your trail screener, that defender sees the shooter coming through and we get a switch out. Right there, this could be a turnover going the other way. So it's important now that our point has been trained and taught to read the screener. It's important that our screeners have been taught always to open back to the basketball after setting a screen. So we set that screen, we open up to the ball a step or two, and if the defender switches, this creates a nice little short jump shot opportunity on the screener slip.
In clip 4, the defense switches out on our shooter, allowing our screener to roll the middle and get a mid-range jump shot.
One of the things we really like about some of our man specials is that the early option in the special itself is a perimeter option. So when we're being scouted by our opponents, the idea that comes across to the coaching staffs and the teams is that we're really after the perimeter option. When the truth is that we're just as equally after the post-up options as we ever are the perimeter option. Many times when I call box during the course of a game, I'm looking to post somebody up. As you look at our setup, we like to run this where we post up a guard. You may like to run it. You may not have a lot of strong post players. You may want to run it to the only kid you have that can score with his back to the basket. We like to get our forwards out away. A lot of our man specials in particular really isolate smaller people, or not necessarily smaller people, but guards in skill level that we have worked with during the course of a practice to teach them how to post up. So we like the guard isolation in the post. We dribble extended. Again, our opponent is expecting a perimeter special. When box is called, they've scouted us, they have us on film, they've seen us make the three-point shot at the top off the stagger, and they're looking at this as a perimeter special. We set our screen across the lane right here. We're setting up our staggered screens or our elevator door behind the shooter. And many times what we find is just if this player will set it up off the screen, that they can come off and receive the ball on the inside in a real proximal position to the basket, and we're able to get a high percentage shot opportunity in the lane or draw a foul with a smaller player with our forward help being out on the floor.
Clip 5 showcases the second option on this set, post entry.
Continuing on with our box options and attempting to play the game from the inside out. Our point guard dribbles the wing extended, which starts our action. Cross screen, bringing our post isolation to the ball. We're going to go ahead and get the ball inside. And then we're off our staggered screen. We're going to bring our shooter in position to receive a kick out of the post to our shooter for the three-point shot.
Clip number 6 highlights a post entry and a kick out to our shooter off the staggered screen for a game winner.
The last option in our box series brings our point guard through off a second set of screeners to the corner. We've gone ahead and set it up. Our point has already dribbled the wing extended to start the play. We've already had our cross screen and our shooter off the staggered screens to the top. Our point guard is going to go ahead and throw the ball to the shooter. Our screeners now, our forwards, our staggered screeners are just going to take a step outside the lane so as to not get a 3-second call. And when the ball is passed to the shooter, we're going to bring our point guard through off a second set of screens for the jump shot in the corner.
Clip number 7 highlights the third and final option of this set. The shooter receives the ball at the top off the double screen. Point guard then goes through to the corner off a second set of double screens for a shot. Clip number 8 gives us another look at the third option of this set.
Our next man special is a double option set called 14. Many of our man specials, as you've noticed, do involve ball screening. Our point guard establishes a side of the floor, drives his defense down as deep as possible to create the flat screening angle. Dribble off the screener. As soon as we're passing the screener now and starting to attack more proximal to the basket, this action taking place drives our shooter to the other side of the floor. Pass the screen, shooter goes. The weak side action is going to be a staggered screen, which I'll get to. In this case, we've opened up the ball side of the floor with the cut, and we're going to end up with a wing jump shot.
In this first clip, the point guard is able to effectively rub his man off the ball screen, push the shooter through to the weak side double screen, and hit the pull-up himself on the baseline. Clip number 2 showcases another pull-up off the ball screen. In this clip, the defender decides to go under the ball screen and can never get quite recovered to guard the jump shooter.
Our second sequence on 14 is going to involve our forward getting involved. I've switched the play to the other side of the court. So we're starting on the right side, driving the defensive man down deep, coming flush off this screen. Anytime we pass the ball screen, we drive the shooter out off the weak side stagger, opening up our ball side penetration. In this case, our guard penetrates off the ball screen. Our forward now is always taught after ball screening to open up and be available. Our forward opens, toward the basketball and realizes that there is a seam, some daylight down the lane to roll into to give his teammate another option. So we open, then we roll straight to the basket. We're able to go point to ball screener on the roll.
In this fourth clip, our ball screener opens for the ball, sees a back cut opportunity in the lane, and finishes at the basket. In this fifth clip, our point guard uses a nice inside-out move as misdirection for the defense for the pull-up.
Our last option on play number 14 involves the weak side. Again, trying to get defenses to guard both sides of the floor very quickly. Our point guard drives down the defender, uses the ball screen. Ball screen action then drives our shooter to the weak side. We've taken our weak side